understand one of the priorities for you was to have a cabinet that was gender balanced. Why was that so important to you?
Because it's 2015.
It's rare to see an example of Greek tragedy in modern Canadian politics. But for the 2021 Canadian federal election, we're getting just that.
Angry demonstrators gathered at a Liberal campaign stop in Bolton, Ontario. It got so tense, the event had to be cancelled because of safety concerns.
Is Justin Trudeau a modern lesson in the dangers of hubris? You might have to dust off your old English textbooks, but hubris is an important concept. It relates to the tragic flaw in the hero that eventually brings about his downfall. So what's Justin Trudeau's fatal flaw? Well, I would argue that's not too hard to spot.
You apparently are quite comfortable with describing yourself as a feminist. Tell us about that.
Well, first of all, I'm going to keep saying loud and clearly that I am a feminist until...
Hear me roar.
So let's talk about sanctimony for a moment. Sanctimony has a lot of definitions, but we can think about it as being smug, morally superior, hypocritical, and insufferably self-righteous.
So important that we all understand that it's not only that men can be feminists, it's that men should be feminists as well. And I am proud of that. Being a feminist...
The problem, of course, is that if you claim to own the moral high ground, you better live up to that promise. This is where Justin Trudeau's fatal flaw comes into play. Not only can he not recognize his own hubris, he can't even recognize his own hypocrisy. He appears to be trapped in a cognitive dissonance feedback loop where his self-image continually collides against his actions, but he can't reconcile them.
These pictures would lead you to believe it was a normal day on the campaign trail. These pictures made sure it was not. Justin Trudeau threw out the schedule to beg forgiveness in a public park.
What I did, the choices I made, hurt people who thought I was an ally.
As the saying goes, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time. Justin Trudeau's hubris has gotten him into a position where many people in this country simply don't trust him, and who can blame them? The reason hubris is a fatal flaw is because the tragic hero is unable to recognize it in himself. The 2021 federal election campaign is about one thing: Justin Trudeau. And the hubris remains intact, with smug pronouncements almost every single day. But this campaign looks and feels different. Voters have now had 6 years to see the gap between Trudeau's pronouncements and his behavior. When the Liberals lose this election, and we ask why, the answer might be simple: because it's 2021.